Hey there, I'm Tam.
And I'm eternally mortal.
And this is the Hidden Egg Podcast, where we talk about vulnerability.
And stuff and things.
And
Buenos nachos.
For season 2, we talk about vulnerability while watching some show things.
Yes. We are currently reaction channeling it and watching. We've had a couple. We had 3 episode 1s so far.
Yep.
The irregular.
No, 4.
Well, we did have 4. That's right,
have 4.
because we did do the Black Mirror, which is off the charts.
Yeah, we're not
part of it.
We're not going to continue that unless people actually request it, because it didn't seem like it would fit our.
We just weren't really vibing with it with the podcast
audience.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But I do really want to continue the show, which I've continued to say. I said it. I listened to the previous.
Yeah. We're gonna watch it. We're just not gonna. We're just not gonna talk about it on recording. I just gotta schedule
that shit with you.
Yeah.
At some point. Anyway, and then we also watched the irregular Magic High School and Erased and Sex Education. Those are the 3 other shows besides Black Mirror that we started, and having 3 in the works, I think, is probably enough.
Yeah, I like the number 3. The 3 is a good number.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do an episode 2 this time. So, season 2, episode 5, episode 2 of a show.
We're doing Erased.
We are doing Erased.
Now, there's a lot of reasons why we're doing Erased, but hold on to your butts.
We're going to do it last time on. I'm going to do it last time on. I just decided.
Well, what?
Okay, so we already watched episode 1.
I get what
so,
you
like,
mean. Okay.
This was the one that we just most recently watched. This was the most recent episode was Erased, episode 1, and it was a lot. There was a lot going on in this show about this kind of down on his luck, depressed artist / pizza delivery dude who has a potential relationship with a high school girl that has an overbearing mom. Well, had an overbearing mom, and then also has a supernatural ability to act out deja vus in a way that save children's lives.
Well, we don't know if it's all children, but
so far, 100%.
The one person, it has been a child.
Well, no, 2, because there was the truck. There was the truck.
Oh yeah, that's true. The
truck was to save a child's
I
life.
remembered the truck. I didn't remember.
And then the mom thing. Where mom spotted the dude.
Yeah, the abductor guy that ended up not abducting the kid because mom spotted him.
And mom alluded to another episode of the time that event happened. That what did they call it? Recovery? No, that's not right.
I don't remember. Oh, revival.
Revival, I think, is correct. She kind of talked about one time as a kid when Satoru said, "Keep your eyes open" or something. So, like, she's referencing another time of revival in the past, and I think that had to do with the kid as well. That's why I'm making the assumption.
I don't know where you get the revival is his ability to go back into the past. I don't think she had any knowledge of that.
No. But she had a memory when they were at the grocery store, and he was like, "Keep your eyes open. Something crazy is going on."
That's right.
She's like, "You said this sometime before."
Like and she was like, kind of alluding to the fact that the events of the abduction thing had happened before, and she started like doing some research and stuff, and the abductee guy, who has very pretty sort of violety red eyes.
Yeah. I'll have to see him again.
Then, plot twist, came in while she was alone and stabbed her, and she's dead.
Oh, hey, by the way, spoilers for episode 1 of Erased. Anyway, so yeah, I think that pretty much recap. Oh, and we like left off.
He went into another revival while he was running away from the cops because they thought that he.
It seemed like they thought.
They thought that he had killed his mom because he had blood all over him, and he ran away, and he had a revival that then sent him back into his 10-year-old body.
Right, which we understand is about the time period of when the event happened. So, I'm really excited to get into episode 2. That's why we decided to continue with Erased instead of the other 2 for right now. It is a shorter show, so we can maybe get through it pretty quick. And we just watched it, and it's exciting, and I haven't seen it as far as I know. So that's kind of why I'm excited.
Yeah, it's fun times.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So I think we're ready to go. You have anything else you want to say?
Nope, I think that's it. You ready to boop?
Yep. Boop. Boop. Okay, so we're at about 4:10. Of course, that includes the opening credits and everything, and the recap, which we're watching because I want to see what they decide to spoil in the opening cinematic, which wasn't much. Okay, the reason why I wanted to pause it here, though, because right now, Satoru, who's being called what now?
No, Kaio is somebody else.
Kaio's somebody else, but like... Oh, no, okay. I thought they were referring to him when they were talking about Kaio. Okay, no, Kaio was missing. Okay, got it. Kaio's late again. Yeah, so Satoru is now currently running somewhere away from the school. But what I really wanted to bring up was that he got himself ready for... Well, he was running to school when he popped into this form, right? So he got to school, to his locker, put his stuff away, and got to the right classroom.
We don't know that. He could have been running late to school and went straight into class.
Okay, so he did get to the right classroom.
But somehow I managed to get to the right classroom.
Yeah. And he didn't remember where he sat. So he is now in his younger body without his younger brain at all present. He doesn't remember all the things that's going on.
Right.
He is definitely freaked out by that because that's weird. That's a weird situation to be in. Right. Why wouldn't you still also have the memories of your younger self to be able to know what the fuck's going on for the continuity's sake? But here you are.
Yeah, he's 10 years old, but with the mind of his 28-year-old self.
Right.
And all of that memory compression that happens where you don't really remember much of anything.
So he had a moment of like breaking where he like snapped out of something and like grabbed his backpack, and one of his classmates was like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm going to the nurse." And the classmate's like, "With your backpack?" So like, you know, stuff. And he's like, "Whatever, I'll tell the teacher." And then he took off. The thing that happened right before that snap was that there were... I don't remember what the visual was, but it wasn't a lot happening on screen.
He was staring off like crazily.
And there was the sounds of two people arguing or talking about Dragon Quest 3. Now this is 1988, and so Dragon Quest 3. I hope they did their homework. I'm not looking it up. I'm just going to assume that they did their homework right. But that's awesome because Dragon Quest.
They mentioned some other shows too, but I think that they were Japanese specific. We didn't really I didn't identify with any of them.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't even remember. But they were arguing about Dragon Quest 3 and what level they were at, which is an interesting argument to have. Just so y'all kids know, the original Dragon Warrior at the beginning of that series, you didn't get beyond level 20. That was as high as it went, if I remember correctly. Anyway, why that was the conversation happening right before Satoru like snapped and got up and decided to run, and wonder why he was in this situation, and was it really revival, and what was he supposed to do?
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think he snapped because, like, imagine that we went back in a time and then, like, you're sitting around a bunch of people talking about Pokemon. Like, it's a, like, brand new thing. Like, oh my god, you know.
Right. Pikachu. Holy shit.
You know, and it's like your brain is sort of like resurfacing memories, but remember, his mind blocked those out. He blocked out memories of this time.
Oh, that's true.
So if his memories are like trying to resurface because he's in the environment where it's like necessary, like what happened during the time where everybody was talking about Pokemon kind of shit.
Right.
And his mind is like literally trying not to do that at the same time as it is trying to do that. So it's like a cognitive dissonance that
is going to put him in a very vulnerable position.
He's going to break, and he's not ready for that right now, so he has to run away.
I understand.
That's what I think.
That's valid. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. And we will head back. Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Boop, boop. Timestamp, please.
Timestamp is 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 10:05. The question happened, what do you like about me? And then the thought happened in the recipient of that question, this Brad is such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so a lot's happened. I never know if we should like be updating people with what's happened in the show.
I don't know. Maybe?
Hmm.
Not everybody's going to have access to the show, so...
That's true. Well, so like what's leading up to the reason for this pause is that our hero Satoru has now sort of understood that since this is a revival, and all past revivals have led him to the saving of somebody, then this must be
to save his mom.
Probably to save his mom, definitely to save someone.
Right.
And it must start way back here in this time period. And so he's like, well, what? I don't know what to do with right now. What am I supposed to do right now to be able to help anything? And then he sees this girl that disappeared when he was young, and she's still there. And so he's like, I want to get to know her. I want to figure out what's going on.
Right. And he noticed some stuff about her in class.
Yeah. And also his noticing stuff about her in class led to him like being very scrutinous upon her, which his friends realized and then gave him a bunch of shit. And then he, as an adult, with an adult's mind would, was like, well, this is an opportunity to go in the direction I'm looking for anyway.
I mean, I said the noticing thing because, like, it's important what he noticed. And you just kind of glossed over that.
Sorry, getting back to it. Yeah, go ahead.
He noticed that she has bruises on her thigh.
Yeah.
Just above where her skirt would normally cover, except that she was sitting down so that, you know how skirts do. They don't stay in place all that well when you sit down. And and he noticed that she had a bruise when she bent over to pick up a compass that had fallen from her desk.
Yeah, and he was justifiably concerned because that is a bruise on the upper thigh.
Yeah, and nobody else noticed because they're all kids. You wouldn't notice something like that as a 10-year-old.
No, not really.
In fact, what they did notice was that he was staring at her.
Yep. Exactly. And so they started talking, and eventually like they made it to where this like interaction was going to happen between the two of them, where his buddy
thinks that he likes her,
and so went to go talk to her and basically convince her to go talk to him, and probably said that he likes her or whatever.
And her first words to him were "You're an idiot."
Yeah, you're an idiot, which is hilarious.
And he's like, "Is that how you greet people?"
And he was like, "Oh no, I said that out loud because that was like an adult reaction."
Yeah, well, because it actually had both his kid self and his adult self saying it at the same time on the audio, which was really fun.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it. It was a good audio effect as well. But that 2-line combo was so important to me to have to come back to the what do you like about me?
Actually, before we get back into that, I want to just say the fact that they had both his adult self and his child self say that line at the same time, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it gives it's their like subtle way of saying he hasn't grown up. Like there are a lot of parts to his 28-year-old self that have not been able to move on from this time period.
Pretty sure he's 29, but I don't think it matters too much. Okay, but yeah,
whatever.
Maybe he hasn't grown up. I can accept that.
And that moment was a moment where like his 10-year-old self and his 29-year-old self were on exactly the same level because he hadn't actually matured in that respect.
Which would be understandable with trauma from childhood. There's going to be some aspect of you that doesn't really get to grow up the right way.
Until it gets treated and you start doing the healing and giving it the space to do so, Which he hasn't been able to do because he blocked all of it out of his memory to begin with.
It's very difficult to heal from something if you do not address it and remember
or admit that it was traumatic.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be able to look at an event that happened that was traumatic and forgive yourself for it, because there's odds are a part of you blames yourself for the event.
Right. So anyway, so her question.
Yeah, her question, "What do you like about me?" is so
Great
poignant,
question.
and it is very, very. It's a very vulnerable question to me because, like, she's really like saying, "If you want me to take you seriously, then what have you?"
Then what have you even noticed about me that you can pinpoint? Like,
Right, like, how is this about me and not about you? Because that's, I mean, that's a real, that's a real deep question from a child. That's a real deep question from a fucking adult, honestly.
and it shows some part of her has had to grow up to think about these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you end up from the experiences that I've had and what I've seen, I would say that you're probably somewhere in your 20s, late teens if it happens early, and like early 30s if it happens late.
Before you start
Before
asking
you start,
that.
no, before you start realizing that like almost everything that the people around you do is ultimately for themselves in
Yeah.
a certain regard, and
Not always maliciously, but
certainly
yeah.
not. In fact, most of the time they're trying to, get theirs without hurting anybody.
Right.
Almost all the time. And that's, a lot of humans do that. It's totally fine.
But at 10 years old, it's pretty reasonable to expect that you're not doing it for the other person. In his case, he is, kind of.
To an extent.
But
He's doing it to
also
save
not.
the other person
Yeah.
because he wants to save his mom.
Right.
He thinks that if he saves her, he'll save his mom. Obviously, that's where this is going.
Right. Well, I mean, he said that. He said, "Is this where? Is this?" I don't remember the words, but he did link it to he believes that this is going to save his mom, since that's what had just happened, and now here he is. The key to saving her
Yeah.
must be in this event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, I just that was such an interesting question, and the fact that he reacted to that question with the thought, he didn't say anything out loud, but the thought was, "This brat is a pain in the ass," and that
Which kind of shows that he wasn't really thinking about her either.
no,
So her question was actually completely validated by his thought.
exactly, because now he's got to think about what does he know about her that he can do this, because he is in fact doing this for himself 100%, and it shows what happens a lot of times when you really confront someone with trying to ask them like about their intentions, and it being sometimes not about themselves, then they sometimes immediately dismiss it, kind of like that, because that was an immediate dismissal to an
Yeah.
extent.
Actually, in real world, like adulting, you find a lot of cases where like the guy will be interested in the girl, and I'm making it very
You're
binary,
gendering, but that's fine.
but it can be either or any gender. But the guy will come to the girl and be like, "Oh, I really like you. I love you a lot." And like if the girl has the thought to be like, "Well, what is it that you like about me?" Chances are the things that they have to say have nothing to do with her as a person. They're
Right.
like, I like your eyes. I love your, the way
The way I feel around
I
you.
feel around you.
I love like how hot you are, your legs, your
Right.
ass, your tits.
Those
but, like,
things
your voice.
are just attributes. They are not who she is. And that makes that question so deep, especially for a 10-year-old, but even for adults, it's a really great question to have in your back pocket.
And I think this is a good thing to say out loud in a very direct manner that I don't think gets said very often. But, hey, folks, being interested in someone for who they are, what they like, what their passions are, what they're into, is always going to be a turn on.
Yeah.
And I don't mean sexually or romantically even. I just mean socially.
Yeah. And that extends beyond. Okay, so like I gendered it where the guy was the one that wasn't really thinking about the other. But on the other hand, if it's a more like the opposite traditional, where it's like the girl is interested in the guy, then a lot of the times they'll say like, I like your body, you're strong,
Mm-hmm.
you can protect me, you
I feel
have a
safe
good
with you.
job. I feel safe with you is kind of a good one,
It
but
depends
it
on the
doesn't
situation, but yeah.
it doesn't say that they like that person for who they are. They just like that person because
of how they feel.
of how they feel. Right. And so it goes on all the directions. I'm sure there are more non-binary ones that are have the same feel of like I like you for the things that I can imagine and fantasize about you that aren't really who you really are, but I can't think of any that are non-binary.
Well, there's
right
a
now.
ton, and like there's a one that doesn't really take any gender into account, where one person in a partnership just has a lot of respect for the other person, and so the fact that that person that they respect is willing to spend time with them is part of the reason. It's part of a dichotomy that's not balanced.
Yeah.
And that happens.
It's okay for friendships to start out that way. I don't know that it's okay for relationships, like romantic relationships, to really start out that way.
But it's okay for anybody. Anything's actually okay. It's just
If-
like it seems possibly problematic.
If, like I was going to say,
I'm sorry.
if you are getting into that relationship with the intention of getting to something deeper, like I don't think that you should start out not appreciating the other person for who they are.
Sure.
If it's a general fling situation, fine. That's fine. That you don't have to know anything deep about the person. But if you're like thinking, "Oh, this is the person I want to marry," then your attraction to them should not be built off of what they look like, how they make you feel, and what they can do for you.
Right. Exactly. Like I would always recommend that if you're going to get into a potentially lifelong commitment with somebody, try to make sure it's somebody that you enjoy their company.
Right.
Being around them.
Right.
The innocuous.
Here we are giving relationship advice.
Yeah, I know, right? I haven't been in a
Sorry.
relationship in almost a decade, so don't take my relationship advice. But I'm just
I mean-
saying.
I mean,
like,
we have a sort of relationship. It's atypical.
Sure. But yeah, I'm just saying that like, if you can find somebody that you can just chill with and be comfortable around, that means a lot, and it doesn't. That doesn't make a big impact on teenagers often.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just the way it is. Anyway, I think that covers all
Everything
the stuff I wanted
all
to say.
the
Yeah,
time.
sorry. I think that was a bit of a long tangent. Anyway, anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
Boop. Boop.
So we're at about 15,
35.
35 to 40, somewhere in there.
After Kaio's essay.
And I just want to point out one thought that always goes through my mind when I hear the poem essay thingy being read out is like, how horrid does your life situation have to be for at 10 years old, the happiest thing that you can think of happening to you be going off to an island by yourself with no one else there? How terrible do you think life has to be for her for that to be her best case scenario?
Yeah, it's her dream.
Her dream. Yeah.
And yeah, it's got to be pretty shitty. It's a heartbreaking essay.
I remember feeling that way. When I was 13, 12 and 13, I had these plans where I was like, I'm going to run away and find a way to hitchhike to the Brazilian rainforest and then find some place there because I knew that it was rich with resources, and I was like, I will find some way to just hermit myself there for the rest of my life. That was going to be my life. That's what I wanted. Nobody else. Just be part of the rainforest and live off of the fat of the land without anybody else. And I remember how crappy my life was for that to be how I felt at that age. And so when I hear that, I'm like, dude, I wasn't feeling that way at 10, 11 years old. It was, a little bit later, but that feels significant. Every year in those first, 15 years, every year is, enormous.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's 10, almost 11 years old, I think, the fact that she's feeling that way, and this essay wasn't from this year. This essay was probably from when she was even younger. It's just heartbreaking.
It really is. And our protagonist immediately recognizes that, which I'm very happy about. The rest of the time up to this point has been basically like, did we already talk about? No, we already talked about the conversation a little bit,
Yeah, a little bit.
and him just trying to take into account where he's at and what he can do to help and how long he's got until she gets kidnapped. Although now the question really comes up: is she going to get actually kidnapped, or because I'm concerned about the mother of Kaio, because she doesn't want her mom to be there, and if she's in the and when she thinks about the town without her,
Your mother
her
will eat the
mother
same
can
way
eat.
as if she, which I don't know what that means.
Nope, but it means something.
I mean, is it one of those like? Because I know, in Chinese dramatization thingies, I don't remember what they're called, but they're the real life people one, but they're kind of anime like,
Okay.
just live action. It's kind of a cultural understanding that when the mother, like when the child goes missing at any age, it doesn't even matter how old they are, the mother will stop eating because she's so worried about her kid being gone.
Oh, that's
Or
interesting.
even if they're not missing but they just go off to college, the mother will stop eating as much because of their anxiety and concern. So I wonder if that is an extension of that, like it maybe isn't
Maybe.
just a Chinese cultural stigma, or not stigma, but whatever thing, that maybe it also branches into Japanese culture as well. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
That's what I get
But
out
it could
of it.
be. It could be that. Okay. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm glad our protagonist recognizes it's a cry for help. Although I'm still a little concerned about where this is going to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You done? Anything else you want to say?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Boop boop. Welcome back.
Okay. No timestamp. We finished the episode.
Including the final credits. I did fail to watch the credit song last time, but I did it this time, and it was beautiful. The song itself was glorious. I missed some of the art, but it looked really cool from what I did see. And I have two wild allegations about the show so far.
Okay.
One, this is the one that I really think is completely impossible, but I love the idea of it, and I would love to see if I could actually write it to make sense.
Okay.
Hinazuki Kaya, the kid that gets abducted soon in the past, the 18-year-old pizza delivery girl, and mom are all the same person.
That would be weird
Uh-huh. So,
and kind of gross.
uh-huh. But from my perspective, the pizza delivery girl and our main character haven't done anything yet, so it's not
No,
gross.
but the mom and the pizza delivery girl were in the same place at the same time, and the mom suggested that she become his girlfriend. So
Well, she's obviously a little cynical and kooky, so it's funny. I swear. Anyway,
no,
that's
it's just gross.
okay. So, and the other one I think I'm a little bit more on the nose with is that in watching the end credits, we see some paper airplanes or foam airplanes, but depending, I don't know which one they were, which is a clear indicator of Yuki, because every time we've seen Yuki, or at least the two introducing times, the one introducing, the one remembrance time, he had the airplane with him. It was a very clear indicator of who he is. So
He was actually in this, if you remember,
yeah, with a paper airplane.
with a paper airplane.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like that was us like
He wasn't active.
that was just a reminder that he exists to the viewer. And so like it's becoming pretty clear that he's going to have a pretty strong role in this show, I believe. And I'm excited to see what that role is, because it could be something terrible, it could be something amazing. We'll have to see. It could be on the level of like fucking Duddits. So,
oh right, Duddits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like I said, I come up with all these possibilities. In the last 5 minutes of the show, though, can you think of anything that was
Yeah, they
interesting?
were when they were talking. They were in the park. The Kaio and Kaio and Satoru were talking about how difficult it is to be yourself around people, and how they kind of like bonded a little bit over. Yeah, they're both pretending. They're both just trying to smile and say nice things because they want other people to like them. And I thought that that was a very wholesome moment that isn't unique to childhood. Like, we still do that stuff in adulthood.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people like to poo poo that and be like, no, that's just a children's thing because they don't want to admit to themselves that they're fake a lot. But, like, part of midlife crisis is realizing how fake that we are and then being like, you know what, life's too fucking short for me to keep doing this.
Sure.
So, if you're out there and you're listening to this, like, really really think about, I guarantee there is a situation that you are not your genuine self in that moment. That you just, it's easier for whatever reason to pretend to be somebody else. And just, just
Yeah.
notice it. I'm not even saying that it needs to change. Just notice it.
Absolutely notice it. It's definitely worth noticing and potentially using intentionally. Because like that's what they were saying at the end to kids. They were
Yeah.
like 29-year-old, 10-year-old Satoru was like using his wisdom of being an adult to be able to connect with this child to get friendship, which I'm a little sus about. Honestly, it's a little not cool, but I understand where he's going with it, trying to save this child's life. Totally get it. But yeah, being able to say that, I'm trying to act like what I think people will like, so that people will like me,
But
and then
he actually genuinely cares about the other people, and that makes it easier for him.
right. Well, he's also saying that like I make an actual effort with everybody, and like that makes the performing easier.
Yeah.
And it makes me closer to what I want to be, basically.
Yeah, and then she said something that he felt was very similar to that 18-year-old pizza girl. I wish I remembered her name. In that, like, the more she tries to pretend, the more likely, like, the more she feels like she'll get to the place where she wants to the person that she's wanting to be.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the pizza girl did say something very
Something
similar
like,
to that.
like, the
Which is
more
why
I say it, the more it'll come true or something like that.
Right, which is clear evidence that they're the same person. Obviously.
They're not even the same age. They're like a decade removed. That girl hasn't even been born yet.
Yeah, she's either just been born, by the way, in 1988,
or just conceived. Like, she's
somewhere in the vicinity of being alive.
That's maybe assuming that she's 18. We still haven't really got confirmation that she was actually 18.
No, we have not.
But we're gonna go with it because that's gross otherwise.
Exactly. But it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's shaping up to be an interesting show. I like where it's going. I'm interested to see where Satoru is going to take the rest of this, because like I feel like he's approaching it too slowly. I feel like time is running out. That's what I'm feeling, is that Kaio's disappearance is much closer than he realizes, and then he's going to have to take action quickly, and it's probably going to go wrong. But that's anime,
Yeah, that's anime.
It's fucking anime. So, but I really like it. I like the style. I like how deep it is, because like I was thinking about Caillou. I was thinking about Caillou and his bald ass head, and sorry, no, I was thinking about Ko. That's why I'm trying to use her last name. He says her last name when they're interacting. He doesn't say Ko or whatever.
He's an I.
He's a hibachi, and oh god, I'm so fucking terrible. Anyway, she's very deep, very quick, And I knew somebody like that when I met them, but they were 18. You.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
I'm like, oh, who was that?
It was fucking you. And
Yeah,
like
and that stuff, you know what that comes with?
trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get there naturally that young without trauma. Like
Right.
that's just not. It's either wisdom and age or trauma.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really pulling for these two kids. I really hope that they find a way to work it all out and like, get together. I'm not going to say I'm shipping children, but like they I think that they'd be really cute together. Like I just like the characters. I think that the two characters have a future together. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Unless she gets abducted, then there's no future.
Right. Or unless she was killed by her mom and
Right.
never abducted. Who knows?
Who knows?
Apparently they found her body. I didn't realize that they had found her body after the snow, but apparently they found her body.
Yeah. I mean, that was the first time that it had said it. He's remembering things.
As they go along.
As they happen.
And so,
it's like,
that's
oh
the
yeah,
thing.
this happened.
Yeah, so it pretty much indicates that like the next fucking blizzard that happens, that's not a great, like that's going to be the climactic moment.
Potentially.
Potentially. But I just like to fucking, gnaw on media and play with the ideas of it. So
Right.
anyway, yeah. Anything else you want to say about it?
Well, next week.
Yes. Let's do our like wrapping it up. Yep.
Yeah.
So next week we have the choice of doing episode 2 of one of the other two shows.
Right. Or just doing Erased again, but doing like double episodes.
How far are we in the podcast time? We're 36 minutes in on one episode. I don't know that we'll see. I think next week we should go ahead and commit to doing Erased again.
And then see how we
And
feel
see-
after the first one.
Yeah, see how we feel after doing episode 3 of Erased. And if we feel like we have time, then we'll do episode 4.
And if anybody has any suggestions or requests for, like, you get tired of us doing Erased all the time, you want us to go back to sex education or a regular Magic High School or whatever, like, go on the Discord. Let us know. Like, we're open to it.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And anyone still listening, thank you for hanging out with us. I really appreciate you chilling and listening to us talk about this silly anime that I really like so far. And I guess that's all, right?
No, you interrupted me. I was going to say
Shit.
to get to the
Oh,
Discord,
yeah.
because like just saying go to the Discord is like
That doesn't mean
what
anything.
Discord? That doesn't mean anything. There's like
Sorry.
millions of Discords. Go to monsteralley.com. There's a tab called chat. It has a little embed linky thing. You can click on that and it'll let you automatically join.
MonsterAlley.com.
Yeah. Or to Monster Alley. I couldn't really decide, so they're pointed at the same place.
Right. And when you keep saying Ta Monster Alley, you mean TAMONSTER Alley.
Yes.
.com.
Yes. No spaces, no underscores, no dashes, nothing.
Taking the T and the A from the accidental.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to make it clear. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, I listened to the last couple episodes. And sometimes we just brush over things without really.
Yeah,
going in depth.
I'm really considering just going with the Monster Alley, like just saying
Monster Alley.
Monster Alley, and then when they get there, it's to Monster Alley.
It's Tamster.
Hamster.
Yeah.
hmm
Well, okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, I'm Eternally Mortal. Thank you for coming, and I hope you find smiles this day.
And I am the Accidental Monster, and you can find us both on that monsteralley.com. I'm putting links in there. Ha ha ha. You can't stop me. And follow yourself always. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.